Hi guys, you've joined me roughly halfway through a 24-hour session down at my local day ticket lake, and it's the beginning of December now, and it's been cold for a couple of weeks, but then the last sort of 5 days or so it's suddenly gone warm. We've had kind of crazy temperatures for the time of year, sort of 13 degrees and sort of 9, 10 at night, and the water temperature last week when I came, the water temperature was down to 6.2 and it's actually gone up to just over 10 now, 10.1 or something, so crazy for the time of year, and you know, hence why we've come on the bank really. So I turned up yesterday afternoon, maybe about 3 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock I'd had a bit of a result, so stay tuned to see that a little bit later on in the video. I've got quite a lot to talk to you about in this video. If you've seen my more recent videos, I've been talking about my winter competition. So I'm actually going to tell you a bit more about that in this video. Got quite an exciting prize lined up. I've actually teamed up with a tackle company to get some really nice end tackle bits for you as part of the prize, and also there's going to be some bait, so I'll talk about that a bit later on. All you've got to do is subscribe to the channel to enter the competition, so you know, if you do that now, and then later on in the video you can find out about the prize. Also, last week when I said, you know, the water temperature was down to 6, I did get out on the bank and I did manage a couple of fish. So in a minute I'll show you those fish, and I'll talk to you about how a little change of tactics based on what I'd seen helped me to catch those couple of fish on a really cold night when I wasn't really expecting anything. So yeah, I'm going to sit back, have a little chill out as I always do, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. I'll show you the fish that I caught yesterday, and then we'll talk about the change of tactics, and then I'll show you those other fish. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Right guys, so hopefully you enjoyed that arty intro. Something I like doing in my videos, you know, just trying to show you a bit of the scenery and the gear I'm using and stuff. I'm not sure if everyone's into that. Perhaps you could leave me a comment below whether you'd rather sort of hear me talking about the technical side of things, or whether you want to see more scenic stuff. I'm sure everybody's different, but you know, I'd be interested in your opinion on what sort of things you want to see in my videos, because at the end of the day I'm making them for you guys. So let me know what you think. If you do like what I'm doing, give us a thumbs up, and yeah, so I thought I'd talk to you about that little change of tactics that I was saying about in the intro. Normally in the winter I tend to fish over a bit of a mix of bait, and so I move away from my normal pop-up rigs and use like a bit of a wafter type setup, my half snowman rig. There's a video on my channel of that rig. It's my sort of tweaked blowback rig, if you have a look for that. But last week, or 2 weeks ago I think it was, I was fishing like that, you know, as you do, sort of normal tactics that you're confident in, and I had some geese go through my lines, because they sort of come in and out of the lake at the end of the day, and they went through all my lines, and I sort of thought, well, I better redo my rods, because I figured the leads might have been moved, etc. And when I wound in, there's quite a lot of leaves and weed on the hooks, and the spots that I'm fishing last winter were really clear, and you know, I had a lead around and it still felt firm out there, but I didn't sort of drag back a rig to see what was actually on the spot. I just felt the firm donk and thought, oh, that's okay, but in hindsight I should have maybe put an old rig on and cast out and dragged it back to see if there was any debris on the spots. So anyway, I'd wound in and got all this debris on the spot, on my rigs, sorry, and thought to myself, well, what's the best way to get around that, because I know the fish are still going to be visiting these spots. So I put pop-ups on, which normally I wouldn't do this time of year, because like I said, I'm fishing over bits and bobs, but yeah, I put pop-ups on and had a fish more or less straight away, and then so did the same, you know, put pop-up back out and had another one in the night in really cold conditions, so I was absolutely buzzing about that. And then on this session, just yesterday, same again, put the pop-ups out and had a fish within an hour. So I think for this winter, or at least for the time being, I'm going to be sticking with the pop-ups, and it just shows you how adapting to the situation and learning what's out on the lake bed can help you decide on what presentation to use. So a little tip for you there is, once you've found your spot and it feels fairly firm, then definitely put on an old rig and cast that out just with a hook to try and see if there's any debris and see if you can hook anything on the spot. And if there's leaves and stuff, then maybe consider a pop-up, because that fish is over the top of it quite nicely. So I'll show you the two fish that I had last week on a really cold night, and then we'll chat a bit about the competition, and then I'll show you the really nice one that I had yesterday. Well, I was not expecting this. It's really tough conditions on this session, and totally flat, calm, clear skies, really cold. I don't know if you can see my breath, probably not. But yeah, really cold, probably about 3 degrees I imagine. Not a breath of wind, big full moon out, and yeah, out the blue, 8:30 in the evening, we've had this absolutely gorgeous 22.5 pound common. So it's made this session worthwhile. Yeah, very surprised, as I said, to get one in these conditions. I sort of felt like I was going through the motions a little bit coming on this session, but I like to keep getting out regularly in the winter and keep the bait trickling in, and you never know, you might get lucky, and on this occasion we have been very lucky. So I'll just show you the other side quickly and then we'll get him back. He is absolutely like a block of ice, I can tell you. Right, I'll just turn him around. There we go then. So that's 22 pound 8 ounces. Hope you can see that okay. It's pretty tricky getting the camera set up and all the light and everything, but you get the idea. Really long fish. I thought it was a lot bigger when I got it in the net. It looked a 30 pounder all day long, but quite thin. I think it's one of the originals, so it's not got the sort of fast growing potential of the newer fish in the lake, but absolutely stunning. I imagine if I caught it in the daylight it'd be really dark and everything, but this time of year most of the bites have been at night time, so I can't complain. Water temperature's down to 6 degrees now, and very light baiting and fishing in the right spot seems to have done the trick. Let's get him back. Well, I can't quite believe it, guys. I don't know what to say. A little bit bleary-eyed. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning now. I had this take at about 1:30, I guess. Out the blue, fast asleep. Unusually for me, I managed to get to sleep. It's absolutely freezing. I got frost all over my bivvy. My net's absolutely solid. I picked it up and it stayed rigid where it was, if you know what I mean. And there was frost all over the handle and everything. And yeah, we've managed to land another one. Absolutely still night. There's like freezing fog. Not a breath of wind. Just the most unlikeliest of conditions. And out the blue we've had another take. And yeah, we've landed another nice fish. It's bang on 23 pound this one, so let's get him up and show you. Nice looking fish. I'll just get a leech off him, hang on. It's obviously been sat in the silt for a while, but something's woken him up tonight. I don't know what, but there we go. So that's a nice 23 pounder, bang on 23 this one. Middle of the night on a frosty November night. I reckon I'm going to wake up and everything will be white in the morning, so that'll be quite nice. It's not quite winter yet, but it certainly feels like it. Let's turn him round. I'll show you the other side. So there he is. It's got these half linear scales there, absolutely beautiful. Sure it'd be nice in the daylight, this one. See what he looks like, but yeah, absolutely gorgeous, really dark, as they all are in this lake because of the clear water, and particularly this time of year, you know, the water's gone a lot clearer and the fish go really dark, and they're absolutely stunning. You probably can't see, but there's all steam coming off him, and you know, my breath's all steaming everywhere. It's crazy how cold it is. I wasn't expecting this tonight. It must be about -3. But yeah, the fish are feeding, so happy days. I better get a couple of photos of him and get him back, and hopefully get a little bit more sleep before the morning. So the competition then, all you have to do, as always with my competitions, is subscribe to the channel. So click that red button below, and then, you know, once I've sort of decided the competition is over, I'll look through all my emails of all the people that subscribed, and I'll actually draw it live on the screen so you can see that it's fair. You know, I sort of scroll through my emails and pick a winner that way. So if you subscribe, I'll get that notification through, and then that's you entered into the competition. As far as prizes go, I'm really excited to announce that I've got a bit of a deal with Angling Iron, which, I don't know if you've seen a few of my recent videos, I've been using their hooks for a while and I really rate them, and they've agreed to send me a bit of a prize package for you guys, which is really generous. So they're going to send a Ronnie rig kit out, so everything you need to make a Ronnie rig, all the, you know, the hook, the swivel, the hook ring swivel and everything. They're also going to send me all the bits to make the Withy pool rigs, because obviously that's something I use a lot, and all the bits to make my blowback rigs as well. So very generous. Thanks very much, Angling Iron guys, if you're watching that. But yeah, I'll put a link to their website down below as well, so you can kind of go check out the bits that you might win if you enter the competition. And I'll probably do another video before I actually announce the winner, so I'll probably show you the actual prizes in that video so you can see what you're going to get. I haven't actually received them yet, but once I receive them, they'll be in a future video, and then we'll obviously draw the prize sometime kind of next year. You know, as I said, we're in December now, so it's not long till next year. But yeah, at some point in January perhaps we'll draw the winner. So subscribe to the channel, and hopefully you can win that brilliant prize from Angling Iron. And also I'm going to be throwing in 3 kilos of my favourite Richworth S-Core boilies and a tub of the white pop-ups as well. So basically a really good prize, I think, and very easy to enter. Just subscribe to the channel. So yeah, so that's it really, guys. Just thought I'd let you know what the competition is going to be. We're going to be running it for a good few weeks, you know, just so get plenty of people entering, and yeah, like I said, we'll probably draw the winner sometime in January. So keep watching future videos to sort of see when the winner's going to be drawn, obviously. So as I said earlier, we're on a 24-hour session. I'm down at my local day ticket where you've seen on previous videos, and yesterday when I turned up around about 3 o'clock, I got my rods out fairly quickly because I know my spots and everything, and I put the pop-ups on because, you know, as you've seen earlier, that was a sort of a change that I made and it really worked for me. So I put the pop-ups on, and literally within an hour I had an awesome comment. So stay tuned to see that next. Right, well, the rods have only been out probably an hour or so, and we've had a result. And it's one that I caught in the winter, but I certainly don't mind catching it again. It's 29 pounds, what do we say, 14 ounces, caught on the S-Core as usual with a pop-up over the top, and yeah, hopefully it's the shape of things to come. I better get it back because I want to catch another one. guys. I just wanted to talk to you about swim choice really. So when I arrived, there'd been a couple of people on the lake, and one guy was still here, and I sort of spoke to him, and apparently fish had been caught actually sort of over the weekend up and down the lake, so they were fairly spread out. But also the wind was kind of trickling down to the sort of the beginning of the lake, the sort of car park end if you like. And I kind of figured, you know, as it's been warm this week, the water temperature might have raised slightly, and that sort of little bit of wind just bringing that warm water down this end might sort of bring the fish with it. And this swim was free, so you know I didn't actually see any fish, and often you don't this time of year. I kind of went on a bit of watercraft, you know, which way the wind's blowing. I know in the winter people say go on the back of the wind, but if you've got a warm westerly or southwesterly like we've got today, and particularly if the water temperature has increased recently, those sort of surface layers are going to move along with that wind. So I quite often follow a southwesterly or a westerly wind in the winter, particularly after a couple of days of warm weather. So that's why I ended up in this swim and actually caught a fish within an hour. So, you know, my guess proved to be right, but funnily enough, the lad that was still here at the far end of the lake, he also caught one about 15 minutes after me. So we basically had two upper 20s in the net at the same time. So that's crazy really. You know, people say in the winter the fish are quite bunched up and in a localised area, but actually two different ends of the lake caught at the same time. So it might be more the kind of time, you know, the feeding times are quite concentrated and shorter, but actually location, you know, they might be a bit more spread out. But it all depends on the lake, you know, and you've just got to learn the lake that you fish and talk to other people, and you know, write everything down and record your experiences, and you can build on it, you know, and over a couple of seasons you can really sort of learn the lake and almost predict where the fish are going to be and sort of when you're going to catch, you know. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, you know, my thinking behind this session, and also, you know, sort of any session really I turn up in winter, I'd always be looking at kind of temperature of the water, what the weather's been doing leading up to the session, and kind of what the wind is doing, and also what the wind is due to do during my session. You know, if it's going to change round and go the other way, you know, I might think of a different spot to go to for the other half of my session, or I might begin somewhere else, you know. So you've got to think about all these things, and it just helps you capitalise on your time, because generally in the winter you're only doing short sessions, so you want to make sure you're sort of in the best possible swim, don't you? So yeah, I just thought I'd kind of run you through what I've done on this session, and as I said earlier, just put the pop-ups out because I found out last week or the week before that there's a bit of debris on the spots, and the pop-up just presents nicely above that. So I've got my usual Withy pool rigs out, and yeah, seems to have worked so far. Right guys, so hopefully you can see there what I'm trying to explain about, you know, even after you've found your spots and you think that it's nice and hard, it's well worth putting out a rig and dragging it back just a little way, see if you pick up any debris on the spot, particularly in the autumn and the late autumn, you know, early winter, when the leaves are still around, they haven't quite rotted off yet. You know, you want to make sure there's no leaves and stuff on the spot to present your bait, and if there are, you know, don't be put off, just try and fish a pop-up or something over the top instead. So we're coming to the end of the session now. You know, I've done my 24 hours, had that one lovely common that you saw earlier on, that 29 pounder, which I'm well happy about, and I showed you those couple of fish from last week, but been no more fish on this session unfortunately, although there's still a couple of hours to go, so if I do catch one, the video will be a bit longer than you expect, so have a look. If it is longer than, you know, after this bit of talking, then there will be another fish, so make sure you watch that at the end. But if not, you know, this will be the end of the video. So yeah, remember about the competition. All you have to do is subscribe. There's those brilliant angling iron bits and the bait package from Richworth as well. So yeah, not such a bad prize, that one. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed catching that common. That's one of the originals out of the lake, and one that doesn't get caught very often, so well happy. You know, there's a few stockies and stuff in here which are nice fish, but they're not quite as sort of prestige as that fish. So yeah, I'm glad I caught that one for you guys, and yeah, it's good to sort of show the tactics that are working, and good to be still catching in December. So hopefully we can carry that on the next couple of videos, and then yeah, like I said, we'll draw the winner of the competition sometime in the new year. So yeah, if I don't catch any more fish, that'll be the end of the video. So we'll see you next time, and tight lines everyone.